Welcome to Sliver and Bite TV. With all the craziness that this world has to offer, how about you stop for a moment, head to the shops, buy the ingredients, and make this Thai green curry. We're going to start by dicing up the chicken, making sure that you're removing any of that residual fat that's left on the chicken breast. And of course you can use thigh if you like. Of course you can cut it up to whatever size you like. However, we are going to velvet this chicken, so the more surface area that you've got, the better. Velveting chicken is an absolute game changer. I had a friend velvet chicken just recently for the first time, and he said, "You are right on the money. I will never go back." It tenderizes the chicken, and that's simply by adding some baking soda and leaving it for 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the fridge, and then washing it off before cooking. It's what every Asian restaurant does. And I'm going to speed up this breast because there's only so much you can watch me dicing up a chicken. Now we're going to sprinkle the baking soda over the chicken. We're going to massage that in very well. It may become a little sticky, but that's all good. Remember, we're going to wash that off once it's sat in the fridge for 15-20 minutes. Okay, so that's just out of the fridge, and we're just adding in some cool water from the tap. You want it a couple of centimeters, an inch over the water, so that you've got enough room to really wash the chicken. You may also want to run it under some cold water or drain the soiled water out and add some new water in. I'm using some paper towel to dab this dry. You can use a tea towel as well. It is probably easier using a tea towel, as you might need to replace the paper towel. So we're turning on the heat now. And I am actually, for the first time, using coconut oil. I figured because the Thai green curry has a strong coconut influence, why not go all the way? So coconut oil it is, and it does have a unique taste, and I find that when you're reheating it, there's less separation if you were to use, say, vegetable or canola oil. Just starting to cut up the chili. I am going to do some small rings to begin with and put that to the side because I can use that for the garnish at the end of the dish ready to serve. And now I'm going to cut that chili down the center, and you can either keep or dispose of the seeds, but I like putting them in. Just going to push that chili to the side and double check the heat of the pan, ready to add the chicken in. You'll see that I throw in just one piece of chicken just to make sure it sizzles before putting the rest in. And we're good to go. So it goes in. You can see I've got it at 140 degrees Celsius. It's not a true reflection in the actual pan, but make sure you're only cooking it 80% of the way. You don't want to have tenderized your chicken only to take it all back and make it rubbery. So you may want to fluctuate the heat. I'm going to get started on mincing the garlic. And don't forget to toss the chicken around every now and then to make sure that you're getting an even cook. So when you get to dicing your garlic, you want to make sure that you slice it down the center so that it is able to grip the board. Otherwise it'll just slip out underneath your knife. And then you're just going to chop back and forth and finely mince that. And then we're going to push that to the side, ready to add later. Time to get started on the ginger now. A lot of people say to not bother peeling it. I like to peel it. I just don't like the idea of having the peel of the ginger in the curry. So this is me peeling it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And then use a fine grater to get a really fine grate on that ginger. Now that chicken is about 80% done, you can make a little well in the center, lower the heat just a little bit, and we're going to start adding some of the ingredients to really infuse and release the aromatics. So I've got the fish sauce in, now going in with the chilli, the garlic, and the ginger, and we're going to give that a little stir. Putting in a little salt to taste. Certainly up to you whether or not you put the salt in. There will be a little bit of salt in the Thai green curry paste. Adding in the fresh lime juice, and then we can turn up the heat a little bit and bring that to a simmer, and you'll start to see anything stuck to the pan will be deglazed off. Time for the Thai green curry paste. I'm going to stir that in. And then we're going to slowly add in our coconut cream. Just making sure we stir that in to what we've got in the pan before adding more. In keeping with the coconut theme, I've got some palm sugar. You can use either white sugar or brown sugar, but I'm going all the way with the coconut this cook. In with the last of the coconut cream and give that a really good stir, incorporating all of the chicken now. As always, make sure you're getting every little last piece of ingredient into the cook. And that can be at a decent simmer now. There's quite a bit of liquid in there, so reducing it down a little bit is only going to intensify the taste. I've got my lemongrass stalks now, and as you can see, I'm using the pestle to crack them open, and it's shaking the camera a little bit, but hey, that's fine. In with the kaffir lime leaves and just pulling off some Thai basil and roughing it up just to release the aromatics before putting it in. And then making sure that you're completely submerging the additions to make sure that the heat releases the aromatics out of there. Giving that a bit of a whiff test just to make sure that I'm on target, because at this stage, if you find that it's not as intense as you would like, you can add another couple of teaspoons of the Thai green curry paste. So you can have that covered for 10 minutes at a time, making sure you're going in and roughing up the leaves and the stalks to make sure that you're really getting the benefit from their flavors. You'll see that the curry has darkened quite a bit, so that's just all the flavors working together and the moisture evaporating off and the flavors intensifying. Going to prepare one of the last ingredients that's going in, the shallot. So just peeling off the outside of it and then using a peeler just to really finely peel some of the onion off lengthways, and then adding that in towards the end of the cook because you don't want it to completely disappear. And we're also going to do a little bit extra to add in as a garnish. The curry has been simmering for about 20 minutes now, so you can go ahead and add in the bamboo shoots. and that can simmer for an additional 15 minutes. If you like, you can add the bamboo shoots in a little earlier. They are quite hardy, so they won't disappear into the actual curry itself, and they're great being reheated as well. It's now time to plate up. As per usual, I like to serve it in a big sharing bowl, and then everyone can take what they like. So just placing in the rice. One last stir, and you'll see that I will fish out the kaffir lime leaves and the lemongrass. You can certainly leave them in because they will continue to permeate through any leftovers that you may put in the fridge, and then you can just fish them out when you serve it up. As you can see, I am trying to find the last lemongrass stick. However, I couldn't find it. But Murphy's Law, I will find it right there as soon as I go to serve it. So I'm using a slotted spoon to just fish out the solids of the Thai green curry. And then in a gravy jug, I will put in some of the juice that you can then pour on to your individual serve, because some people like their Thai green curry rice drowning in the sauce. Others, not a massive fan. So you can do what you wish. And now I'm going to garnish it. I'm just putting the bud of the Thai green basil in the center. And then in my ramekin, I have some of that shaved shallots and also some of the chilli rings and also some coriander. And then to serve, I am just pouring some of the Thai green curry juice over the top. It's such a wonderfully flavoursome dish. Good any time of the year. Thanks for cooking with me. We'll see you soon.